Welcome to the Window Seat Podcast. We're back. We're in full effect. I think that's something they used to say in the 90s, in full effect.
Yes, back in effect or something. I don't know.
Man, I feel played out saying that.
As you should. As you should.
Man. But speaking of 90s and played out and stuff, we watched The Art of Organized Noize.
We did. But you kind of threw some shade, maybe the whole tree. Speaking of the 90s and played out, we watched.
Well, I didn't mean it like that. I did not mean like that. It was good, man. I don't have any complaints at all about it. Well, I have a few, but where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, honestly, we can start from the beginning. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't know who Organized Noize was before watching this documentary. Like, not a clue. Now, when the documentary went on and they started, playing some of the songs and yada, yada, I was like, oh, okay. But as far as like producers or whatever, they would be producers, right? Or
yes.
Okay. As far as like who produced what, like I ain't know none of that. So to me, it was like super informative.
Yes. And I knew some of that, meaning I knew about Sleepy Brown. I've heard of Rico Wade, but Organized Noize as a group, I was not familiar with them.
And see, that's funny because I had also heard of Sleepy Brown, but I had heard of him as like a rapper, as an entertainer,
Yes.
on like The Way You Move, and I can't, is he on that song with Killer Mike and OutKast, The Whole World, possibly.
I don't know if he's on there. I'm not sure.
I remember him from, but anyway, yeah. So it was just kind of like I had heard of him, and I had heard the name Rico Brown or Rico Wade.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have been, like somebody from the hood, because they kind of sound like a hood name. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Rico and Wade, that's kind of hood, real talk.
Exactly. So I'm not sure if I actually heard of him before.
Right. They did this thing for Mass Appeal called Rhythm Roulette. And without getting into all that, basically Sleepy Brown and some more guys was on there. And this was about maybe 6 months or so ago. And I didn't pay attention to the other guys. So that could have been them right then and there. I'm gonna look that up while we're on the phone. I mean, not on the phone, podcast. But Queen Latifah, executive producer.
Oh yeah.
Was it Shakim? I'm not sure who that is, which I should have looked it up, but whatever.
Every time I think about the name Shakim, I think about Rakim.
Yeah, me too.
But they're two different people.
You're right. You're right. Quincy Brown III, what he goes as was it QD3? I think that's what he goes as. That's his alias. Which is Quincy Brown's son. The great composer Quincy Brown. So his son.
Who the hell is Quincy Brown?
Crap, not Quincy Brown. Who am I talking about? Quincy Jones. My bad.
I'm like.
So yes, yes.
This sound right, but not really. I'm confused. Okay.
So yes, it was Organized Noize on Mass Appeal for Rhythm Roulette, and that was 5 months ago. So I had it almost on the head, man. So yeah. And I did not pay any attention to those guys, and they did so much work. Who else we have? We have so Quincy Brown's son.
Quincy Jones.
Crap, why I keep saying Quincy?
I don't know.
You know what? You take it away.
Hilarious.
Did we go to school with a Quincy Brown or something?
Maybe. It's a possibility. Yeah, definitely a lot of big name individuals behind the camera and on screen,
Mm-hmm.
I was not interested, but I was kind of shocked actually to see P. Diddy And I kind of feel like there were a couple of times that I felt like, what is his name? Damn it, now it escapes me. He's in Goody Mob.
CeeLo.
Nope.
Big Gip.
Yes. Like he said something about producers trying to be all up in your videos.
Yeah. Of course he was taking shots, man. Come on, man.
Exactly. And I was like, and then it kind of like a few shots later, it was like Diddy sitting there like, yeah, so just like, yes, son, it was talking about you.
Right.
I just thought that was really interesting. But overall, like super, super positive.
Yeah.
Painted them in a great light, and not even, trying to wash over their shortcomings and stuff like that or whatever, I appreciated that. And they seem to be, and this may just be, what I got from it, but they seem to be a really close-knit group. Like you can tell they're comfortable with each other. At least that's how I felt,
You have to be to be in the house with how many? Like 15 guys that they were
Oh,
naming.
I thought
They
that
were
was
there all
amazing.
the time with Rico Wade's mom and the sisters. They didn't show the other sister, just one. But to be there all the time, day in, day out, I mean, you have to be close knit. Because if not, you would lose your mind. Me personally, I would have gone home. I would have come back. But I said, I can't be in this musty basement with you guys, like all the time, sleeping on the floor. Like, nah, I got a house to go to. So this is what we gonna do. Let me get some of these beats. Go to the house. I'll be back after a fresh shower and a good nice rest. But I guess that's why they made it, and I'm still out here struggling.
But I think it depends. You know what I'm saying? I think being in those close quarters and having to, deal with everything they deal with, they learned, they grew, all of it was kind of together. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's one of the ingredients to their success. Like it's not really like somebody got on and just kind of left everybody else behind,
Right.
But yeah, I love the beginnings of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what we wanted to do, so this is what we did, and this happened, this happened, this happened. But at the end of the day, we kept it moving. We helped OutKast, which I didn't even know that. Again, I didn't know who these people were. So to know that they like produced their OutKast's first album, like the whole thing, except for like, is it one song?
Maybe one song, if not all of it. Maybe one song they didn't do.
Yeah, I thought I had no idea who put OutKast on. Put it like that. Like I didn't know. So I think that's like so freaking cool. I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
So Under 3000 dropped out of school to do the music. Big Boy said, "Nah, I can't do it."
It was, so I got this 3.8.
Right. Andre was like, "Man, forget what you talk about, cuz that's not gonna get you nowhere."
And I love it. He was like, he went and got his GED though. I was like, okay, well, all right.
I really don't.
Not that we really give a shit. He's Andre 3000.
Right. He is by far one of the most respected, feared lyricists out there. And any rapper would tell you. He's so great. Just run across some big name rappers and some interviews when they're talking about their top 5 and they don't mention Under 3000, they're gonna say, "Oh, I don't have to mention him because it's already understood."
Right. Do you think that same thing goes toward Big Boy? Like, I feel like Andre 3000 is kind of like in a different league than Big Boy.
He is. Now, Big Boy gets respect from a few people. I've heard Talib Kweli say that Big Boy is one of his favorites. And I don't know if that's genuinely one of his favorites, as I listen to your music, I rock with you, or hey, I listen to your music, I like you, I respect how hard you work. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference when you can just sit back and play somebody's music and just zone out to another place. Like, man, this is it right here. You do that when you listen to Under 3000. You do that when you listen to who are in the greats. Everybody greats are different. But Big Boy, I put it to you like this: Big Boy out here still working and doing music and features and everything. Andre 3000 does stuff very sparsely. People are checking for Andre. They're not checking for Big Boy. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just that's what's missing. The way he attacks songs and the way he tells stories and everything. That's what's missing. And whenever you hear it, it's like a cool breeze on your face. Like, oh man, that's all right right there. Big Boy, he cool. He makes the group work. But Andre can shoot. He can do it by himself. Not OutKast. He can't do OutKast by himself, but he could have a sustainable music career by himself.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I also think that Andre 3000 appeals to a wider audience. Yes, he's a great lyricist, but he also has an appeal for a few different audiences. It's not
There's
just
a
going
sex
from
appeal that Diddy told him, "Hey man, take that shirt off."
Exactly. But it's so funny because when you think about like sexy men, I don't know if you think about sexy men, but if you do, he's not somebody that will be at the top of your list for most people. But it's undeniable that he does have sex appeal.
I mean, he's an attractive dude. I mean, you can't deny that.
He is, and that hair stay laid. I cannot.
Really does. It really does. Man.
It is like awesome.
Andre 3000 has a quote on Headland and Low.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
It's pretty dope, man. What else I got? So the skate park, the people that are famous now, that's where you hung out. What's your Dallas Austin, your Escape, your JD, your TLC, everybody hung out at this skate park. Man, I wonder if it'd be dope if Jackson had something like that. Whatever.
I mean, the skating ring on Lakeland.
Man, this skating rink is no more.
It was a spot. I mean, not no big name folks and nothing like that, but as far as like the spot to hang out as kids, But that's funny because I've heard T.I. and even in that movie ATL of how the skating ring or whatever was kind of like a big deal in Atlanta. I don't know if it was multiple skating rings or just that one skating ring. I don't know. But that theme just keeps coming. So it was really awesome to see that. And, it was kind of nostalgic in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't think about no dudes nowadays skating. That shit ain't happening. But it seems like it was like one of those common things, that folks just did.
I mean, everybody used to skate now. Come on now.
Right.
You were good or not. Everybody used to skate.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, but them also taking so much initiative at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Buying that building, not buying the building, but renting that room out or whatever, $300 a month.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That shit don't happen now. Like
it don't, man, because people are so people are sketchy. People come in with underlying motives. These guys, their only motive was to make music. Like, hey, we can do this together. Because who was it? Sleepy Brown and Rico Wade. Was it Rico introduced? How was it? Because T-Boz knew Rico, right?
See, I thought that T-Boz introduced Sleepy to Rico. Is that what you just said?
That is exactly what I just said.
Yes, then. Yes.
Yeah. So, but that's a connect right there. They didn't say how far along T-Boz was with the TLC contract. What all they produced by the time that they were introducing them. She was introducing the friends, and even when they produced for the Waterfalls, that just randomly came about. And let me put a pin in that. So the dude that came up with the Waterfalls concept, he's still working at the Marriott. How does that work?
What is he doing at the Marriott? Like, you should be getting residuals off of that shit.
Shoot,
why? I don't know how much they are. I don't understand, especially with him being a songwriter. Yeah, he must like working at the Marriott,
Ain't
or
no way.
he owned the Marriott or
Ain't no
something.
way. No. Ain't no way.
I mean, there's something going on. I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
He got a gambling problem. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
OutKast left Organized Noize. Well, okay. Organized Noize put OutKast on the LA Reid's radar. LA Reid didn't want to sign them at first or second or third, but he just kept Rico kept pushing them out there. Then LA Reid finally went on ahead and signed them. So you go on to do bigger and better things and be known as OutKast. So I'm not sure how much money you're making. Hopefully a lot. Organized Noize left LaFace Records and went to Interscope with Jimmy Iovine, who everybody swears the darn devil in a crook, which I wouldn't doubt it. I've never met the guy, but any guy that doesn't come up in hip hop culture but runs it, that troubles me. Anyway, so they got more money at Interscope, which I don't understand why. If it was good enough for, I don't know how many contracts or how many albums OutKast was signed to, but why couldn't not organize why couldn't LA Reid renegotiate their contract to get Organized Noize some more money?
Well, honestly, I mean, I've heard several stories about LaFace.
They have so many big names on there though, and they're getting paid. Why the ones that brought this group and produced this group and went freaking platinum with this group? Why can't you get them more money?
Well, I don't know. I don't know their business dealings, but to me, it kind of seemed like even though they were doing all this, LaFace was only, or LA Reid was only willing to pay them so much more. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. It is what it is. And even if you look at the size or the whatever between LaFace and Interscope, yeah, I'm pretty sure Interscope could afford to throw more money at them than what LaFace could, you know?
Okay, that makes sense.
So I think that probably has something to do with it. And sometimes when you, not saying that they were big headed or whatever, but when you do reach a certain level, it's kind of like, I can do better than this. And technically they did. But at what cost? And,
at the cost of having their deal taken from them. And what they said, it was like said $20 million deal or something like that. And they
left 17 million on the table.
Yeah, so that's crazy. That's crazy.
It is. And I mean, I think that goes back to something that Rico Wade said later on in the documentary. I kind of feel like it got to the point where LA Reid and Organized Noize and all that stuff, like they were like a family, so to speak.
And they understood the whole, this is Atlanta. So when you
exactly
there, you understand, Interscope, Jimmy Iovine, they wanted the Waterfalls hits. They probably wanted the that In Vogue hit.
And honestly, down south music, specifically Atlanta music, is nothing like West Coast music, nothing like East Coast music.
You're right.
So that was a mistake. It was a very costly learning experience for them, because I think in addition to losing all that money, they also lost a lot of connection.
Respect. Yeah.
Exactly. And, just kind of terrible. But when you 24, 25 years old, the sky's the limit. Yeah. So you go for it. And unfortunately, it did not work out for them.
Yeah, because it also talked about how when they did get to that point, that they started to separate, and it wasn't necessarily the money that separated them. It was, I guess, more freedom that they had because they had more money. They didn't have that, I guess, that initial hunger that, hey, we have to work on this together. It's like, okay, people were still doing what they were known to do, but doing it at their leisure.
Right.
So the who was Ray? Is that his name? Ray?
Mm-hmm.
So Ray, he was the beat guy. Like, okay, man, I can't be sitting here making beats for everybody without the input of the other two guys, because this is how it works. I can only do what I do, and then have the rest of the have you guys put your ideas on top of it, and we can build from there. And Sleepy Brown, like, man, forget that. Let me get some what was you doing? On cocaine or something like that? What was you doing?
I think what did he say? He said ecstasy
Ecstasy.
and something else. I think. I think Rico
Yeah.
said something about cocaine.
Yeah.
Right. And I found that really, really interesting. That whole little segment. To me, that was just very odd.
Mhm.
But again, I like the fact that they didn't shy away from stuff like that.
Right.
But for me, as a non-drug user and as somebody who has never used drugs, other than like alcohol or whatever, the effects that they talked about as far as the effects on the music and what you can hear and stuff like that, hell, it made me want to go out and take a hit. Like, I wonder what I'm gonna be able to figure out about my life and stuff.
I mean, that's what a lot of people use those psychedelic drugs for, to by psychedelic, talking like your LSD and your shrooms and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It opens your mind to things. And having your mind open is not for everyone, I can tell you that. I've never used any drugs of that magnitude, but some people function well. I know guys that smoke all day every day. I'm talking about marijuana. And in between the marijuana, they're puffing on a cigarette. So it's all day, every day. And they go to work. Some of them make music, so they making music. They doing that, and it's a thing. It works. If you're having writer's block, or whatever, smoke a little more than what you already been smoking, and see what comes of it. And I personally am not one that can function like that. I like to have my wits about me. You know, I drink alcohol, and I'm not the one to drink alcohol and be productive. When I'm drinking alcohol, I'm trying to kick back and relax. But some people, I know this I guess handyman, a jack of all trades, whatever you call it. Wake up drinking, go to sleep drinking. Does everything drinking. I don't know how people do it, but I guess when you form that dependency, it's regular life, man. You just it's not even you trying to get drunk anymore. You just doing it to be stable or steady.
There are definitely some functioning drug users. I don't want to even call them addicts, drug users,
Uterus.
drug users and alcohol users or whatever, and they do function. They're functioning drug users. But I just found that to be really interesting, and that kind of, again, like, I'm not somebody who's ever used drugs before, so I don't even think about these things. And you hear a lot of musicians and artists and things like that who are, you know, drug users or whatever. You hear stuff that you won't normally hear. You hear something outside of the beat, outside of this, and yada yada yada. You're able to do more with it and that was just mind blowing to me, because you get used to your mind functioning a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And to think that there's a possibility for my mind to function another way. Like, what? For real? But I thought it was really cool that they discussed that.
But they also describe that as rock and roll, because that's what those rock and roll bands and groups were known for doing. A lot of drugs.
Right.
And shoot, they're probably still doing a lot of drugs and making music and touring just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a part of their culture, and I think somehow it spilled over to the hip hop world to be known for the drugs. Even though a lot of hip hop acts, I want to say Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Crap, what was the name of that song? Hip hop, hip, you don't stop, rock it to the bang bang, boogie the up jumps. But you know what I'm talking about.
I
But
do.
I want to say a couple of those guys were heavy cocaine users, but
Hmm.
was popularizing the music. But you know, we can get on that tangent another day, which is coming up on another podcast episode. We're gonna talk about drugs. But Rico said how OutKast never thanked them. Like they left Organized Noise, even though Organized Noise left and went to Interscope, they left as
Mm-hmm.
far as they didn't want them to produce anything because that OutKast produced their second album by themselves. Well, no,
Now,
no. They produced their second album without them. They produced Speaker Box and A Love Below by themselves. But they basically didn't want them to produce for them anymore. And Rico also said that they never thanked him once. They're still tight now, as far as you know. I'm assuming Cordial and Sleepy Brown still work with him and all that stuff. And they still talking. They even got him on the interview, so it's not like they have hard feelings towards each other. Well,
right.
not that hard of feelings towards each other because you know they're doing that, but it has to be something else, man. Because if they're as close as they said they were, all of them spending those nights in the dungeon and days in the dungeon working on music, then you would have to say, "Hey, man, thanks." When you go get that Grammy or when you do whatever, you gonna have to say thanks. You gonna have to say something. I don't know. There's more to this story.
Oh yeah, I definitely think it's more to that story. And I think it's more to a couple of other things in the documentary as well. But definitely that Outcast story because you would assume that, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was public acknowledgement that Rico Wade was referring to because I can't see you, the producer, getting us in front of a label, and then that label, even after some hesitation, deciding to sign us and basically setting us up not nicely, for the rest of our lives, and not even thank you. Like I can't see that. So I'm hoping that maybe he's talking about public acknowledgement. They don't necessarily make it any better, you know, but that's just really weird to me. And then the fact that they were, like you said, they're working together again. They did some type of tour at Coachella or something like that, or
Mhm,
whatever. All of them,
mhm.
is just kind of odd. Like we just gonna sweep this over. We just gonna sweep this under the rug and move on in life. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
I wanna say that somewhere in between that, they had a difference in direction, I wanna say. Not as far as musically, but as far as style, if that makes any sense. Because Goody Mob was going in a completely different direction than OutKast. OutKast was
Mhm.
a one-way ticket to the top. Goody Mob was like the step relatives or something to OutKast or something, you know?
Right.
They were good, but they weren't producing that commercial sound. But OutKast didn't produce commercial sound, but it was more of a it was that shoot, I don't know. It had that appeal for a commercial. Goody Mob didn't. You know, kind of like how trap
Yeah.
music now is now commercial.
And that totally could be it. A difference in artistic direction. Or what I kind of feel like, took place was it, and this may sound terrible, but you're with this big, huge label. I don't even know who is Outkast with right now or the last few years. Not LaFace. LaFace don't exist no more.
Let's see. Let's Google it. I can Outcast. Uh, Epic.
Okay. So And this, I mean, I don't know how this stuff works, but I couldn't see it would, to me, it would seem like they would want their in-house producers to produce them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Epic pays these people to do these things. So why would we pay somebody more or whatever? Why would we pay somebody outside that we don't have contracts with or whatever to produce this album when we can do it here for this, and this, you know?
Right, because that's where they allocate the budget.
Right. And then you also, OutKast sound has changed over the years. That was one of the things that, like, I didn't really know a lot of their earlier music. Some stuff I did, but I honestly wasn't introduced to OutKast until I was probably like, I don't know, 6th, 7th grade or something like that. And
So what song would that be?
oh, what song?
Elevators.
How did Elevators go?
Me and you.
Yo, mama and yo cuz. Yeah, that, or brother, whatever. Yeah, around that era, possibly. And then not really even getting into them until it was probably like Bombs Over Baghdad, that song.
And
You
that's
know,
when they went commercial and their core fans were thinking, what on earth are you doing?
only knowing OutKast when he had the rap and the hey ya and all that stuff or whatever. I could totally see them not wanting them to be their producers anymore, just because we have a different sound now. We have a different whatever now. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it's right, but
and on top of that, they wanted that consistent sound, and it's saying like Organized Noize kind of stumbled on those things.
True.
They weren't consistently producing no waterfalls, consistently producing. What was that song they did for En Vogue? There's the only two I can think of, but they weren't consistent with that. It was like this works. Okay. And OutKast like, nah, we need about 4 of these, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. Can you give them? You can't. Well, we got to go to people who can.
And so this may actually be one of those situations where being by offering variety, by not niching down, you actually hurt yourself, because it's great that you can do all these things, but what do you do on a consistent basis?
Yeah.
Like you can produce for En Vogue, you can produce for TLC, you can produce for Bubba Sparks or whatever. So you're like a jack of all trades, but what are you a master of? So, I mean, and it's not like down talking them or nothing. I think they're amazing, but I could see it being a risk for people who are not familiar with their catalog of work and don't really understand the type of music that they produce, because they can do so much.
Right. And you know what? I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'm not really feeling that Southern playalistic Cadillac music, to be perfectly honest. But the ATLians, that's when it kicked off. That's with the elevators and the ATLians and the Jazz Bell. That's when it freaking kicked off for me. Yes, I can really rock with these sounds, and they did produce on the ATLians. But
and so I would have been like a couple albums later.
like the first one with Players Ball, like that track jamming, don't get me wrong, which I did not know that was on a Christmas album. That's crazy. But it's jamming. But the album as a whole, it's not my style. It's really not. It's too I don't know. I think it's too niche. You know what I'm saying? But some people love it. It's just not me.
And some people say that, that's like their best album, for those individuals who rock with that type of music. I'm kind of with you that that's not my thing. I didn't too much care for it. Again, like I'm the OutKast of the future, pretty much. Like that's where my allegiance lies with them.
And you know what's crazy? I'm late to the hip hop game, but when that Bombs Over Baghdad and Hey Y'all and everything came out, I was thinking, this the same guys that did the Elevators,
Mm-hmm.
same dudes. What happened to that sound? I don't like this. This is weird. But that Love Below album, like Speaker Box, I'm not really, I don't really rock with Big Boy like that, you know.
Me neither. And I feel so bad because I do kind of think it's one of those, like they're a duo.
Yeah, they are.
You
They
get
are.
OutKast. You don't
Like
get
their
to choose.
songs together are good.
They are absolutely, but the Love Below. Oh my gosh!
Man,
Like
man, me, John, Joe, Ricky. I promise you, it seemed like we played that out for 2 summers. I kid you not. Everywhere we went, man. I'm talking about freaking Waffle House, band practice. Man, it seemed like we played that out for at least 2 summers, man. Oh my goodness. That was jamming. And I still got that album. I listened to it maybe a few months ago, man. That's still good, man. And you know what? People weren't
yes,
talking noise to Andre about trying to sing either. They were not. But they get on all these other rappers. You wanna know why they won't get on Andre? Because they respect him and they give him that leeway because he was one of the original weirdos. You know what I'm saying?
and that's exactly what I was about to say. Like, I think they said this in a documentary. Now it's cool to be weird, which is weird in itself.
Right.
Like everybody, you want to stand out now, whereas before, when you actually were weird, or quote unquote unnormal, whatever you want to call it, it was kind of something that actually made you stand out because not everybody was doing that. Now, and it was also authentic. Like he's just a very different guy. He's an odd guy, and that's okay. Now it kind of seems like people look at it as something to aspire to be. Like I'm normal as fuck, but because I want attention or because whatever, I'm gonna play weird. Just like people with this whole nerd culture. I'm gonna throw on some glasses that don't even have lenses in them,
Right.
and call myself a nerd. No, that's not how this works.
Right. He can rap. CeeLo, have you ever heard CeeLo rap?
I have heard CeeLo rap.
Rap. CeeLo can rap. Like that's the difference between CeeLo and Andre and some of these other guys out there. The difference is they are I guess experiment on different sounds and everything, but these guys can rap though. You don't want to mess with them when it comes to actual lyrics and actual bars because they will shame you, and that's not what you want. So when you get that much respect, they allow you to do stuff like that, man. They allow you to experiment. Anyway,
And I agree. And CeeLo is another one that I really like. And so I was glad to see him on this documentary as well. Along with
tiny hands.
his tiny ass limbs. Like it's not even just his hands. He's very like short limbs. It's the weirdest shit ever. He's like a ball with just these little bitty arms, like these little T-Rex arms. It's fucking odd. But and then he got that big ass mouth of teeth. Like, see how you got me starting to go off on folks and
this is what
talk about the way
podcast does. This is what we do.
Does, but like, and I'm gonna say all that about him, and then say I really like CeeLo though. Like I really do. I think that he is amazingly talented.
He is.
And he like you said, he experiments with different things, and he is, over here, he's over there, and his sound is just he also, even though he can rap, he also has a really nice singing voice.
He does.
And it's a very odd singing voice, but it works. And so like I am here for CeeLo. CeeLo's music is off the chain, no matter how odd and weird he looks as a human being.
Right.
And so yes, I was glad to see him. I didn't know who the fuck Big Gip or Lil Gip was, like not a clue.
Yeah.
I did not know who he was. But I like his mouth. That's one thing I did. Like I was like, he had a nice mouth. And who else I was glad to see? Ludacris, that one lady, I can't think of her name right now.
Singer?
Yeah.
I don't even know what she does. But
yeah, I didn't know either.
She is important. enough to be on a documentary.
And apparently she's been doing this for a while. I looked her up during the documentary, but my phone died, so I can't see what I found. But anyway, and then of course Diddy. I think we had a brief text conversation about Mr. Diddy himself, because I was fucking here for Diddy and his assistant bringing him some ginger ale. I was like, yes, Diddy.
That was the strangest thing ever. Like, you stopped the documentary to tell this guy to, hey, bring me this, and then you stopped to drink it. Like, just like, how does that work? And what are you doing?
I love it. Like, zero. Like, this many fucks given. Like, none. Like, so I know we're doing this right now. And then I love the fact that the assistant, like, he didn't even miss a beat. He didn't like stand in the corner like, Mr. Puff. He was like, no, because I know if I don't get him his ginger ale in 2.5 seconds, he's going to put his foot up my ass. So I need to be getting him his ginger ale, whether I be on camera or not.
What, did he going to smack you and then tell him to make sure they put it in a documentary?
Exactly. And there gonna be shit you can do about it because he did it. And then he gonna make you walk across the bridge and get some fucking cheesecake. So you might want to bring that ginger ale. I was just like, I am not a fan of Puff Daddy, P Diddy, Diddy Daddy, none of his multiple names over the years. I am not. I think he's arrogant as fuck. And you know, he can be mean from what I've seen. And from what I've read or whatever, but you just cannot deny that when you think of the word boss, like it's kind of him, you know.
I mean, he has earned his title, man.
He absolutely has, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that he said thank you. Like, that's something I always pick up on when people have like anything. Honestly, like when the dude brought him whatever, he still thanked him, and I think that says a lot about somebody's character. And I know it seems like really small, but you will be surprised at the number of people who don't say thank you or be respectful in talking to somebody they think is below them, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll put it on another podcast.
What, you don't think he said thank you?
No, I'm not saying he didn't. I can't let that overshadow. I don't care if you said thank you or not, man. Don't talk to me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, he didn't say, bitch, get your ass in there and give me some ginger ale. He said, bring me some ginger ale. Like,
but even if he did do that, he's still, I'm not saying he talked to him wrong in the documentary, but I'm saying, like, you know, that he probably said some worse things than that and then said thank you.
The thank you is what matters.
I mean, maybe.
Like, and you know, okay, so full disclosure here.
Please. You know, like,
I'm one of those people though. Like, I kind of feel like I pretty much talk to people. I try to be respectful, but I kind of talk to them pretty much however I feel like it. But I will be like, you know, thanks. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll put please on the end. Look, I was raised with manners, okay? So
man. Shoot, man. Let's go ahead and shut this thing down, man. Shoot. Where I guess I'm not gonna give the information.
Yes. So definitely continue to check back weekly for a new podcast episode. We got some amazing things in store for the listeners. And if you haven't checked out The Art of Organized Noize on Netflix, please do. And, you know, chat with us, email us. We would love to hear your opinion on the documentary, because I think both of us, we really liked it. What about you?
Yes. I think we really liked it. I know I did. And if there are some things that we missed or didn't discuss that you want our opinion on, let us know.
Yeah, definitely. So this has been another episode of the Window Seat podcast, and we are out.